Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time zone it is, whether you in the world, it is your Lore Saviour. And the inspiration for this very video comes from a question that somebody asked me via Instagram. The very question is going to be here, but for those of you who are only able to listen rather than watch, it is somebody that is asking me as some games master advice. They want to run a game for some folks, but they're not too sure that they're ready, and what sort of tips and tricks could I throw at them? Now, I gave them the sort of usual things you would probably hear in any video like this, or any core rulebook, like make sure it's the sort of game that players want, because if you want to do something political and they want to do a lot of fighting action, that might not go down with them particularly well, or vice versa. Don't do railroading, sort of general things like that you've heard many times before. But it's just the last tip that I gave them that's going to be the focus of this video, because I've put this tip in other videos like this, but it's often been like squished in the middle or somewhere towards the end, which is where most people who start watching the video are going to start dropping off anyway. So this is a bit of advice could probably be missed, and I don't want it to be, because I think it's probably the best bit of advice that any games master and player actually could receive when it comes to running and also playing games. And this will sort of be the question that somebody had asked me, Lore, if you've got one bit of advice that you could give to any player or games master, what would it be? And my response is simply, just fucking do it. Now, on the one hand, this might seem really fucking obvious, but on the other hand, it might actually seem a bit counterintuitive, because there's a whole load of reasons why somebody may not just want to go ahead and do it, particularly if it's like a mental health, social anxiety thing, or they're coming back from a, I don't know, not so pleasant experience with gaming or things in their life, that just telling somebody to do it might just seem a bit harsh. But this isn't where I'm coming from, I assure you. It's more from the angle that we live in a beautiful age. Well, it was once beautiful. No, it hasn't. We live in an era where we have so many different resources available to us, mainly in the form of the internet. We've got forum posts, Reddit discussions, Discord servers, YouTube videos, TikToks, and so many different avenues where anyone and everyone can give a bit of advice, and it might seem the most sagely of advice. And it's becoming increasingly difficult because of the rise of generative AI, and corporations and social media and governments are trying to use technology and AI stuff to dictate what we should and shouldn't be seeing. But this is obviously what I'm talking about here, because if you're having to rely on generative AI for your inspiration from TTRPGs, what the fuck are you doing with your life? But as I said, there is just a whole a monsoon of information that just seems to be coming you all at once. Any core book for any game that you're wanting to run, and source book really, can offer tools and inspiration and ideas, themes and emotions of how you should, could, may want to consider running a game. And quite frankly, outside of the core book that you're reading, it might just seem a bit much. It could just be a lot just to take in, and you just have all this information you don't really know what to do with. But if you're reading all these things, if you're watching all these videos, then chances are you have an idea already, and you just want to know how to action it. But the thing is, you could watch all these different videos and read all these different things and everything else, but you're not going to be able to run that game if you don't actually start running it. Chances are you've got some friends, or you know where you could put an ad for these things. So go ahead and do it. Because, as I said, you're not going to be able to do that until you actually start physically doing it. Or digitally, more likely, but you know what I mean. And I can understand a lot of fears and nerves coming from all of these different things. That you're worried about making mistakes, you're worried about forgetting the rules, you're worried about looking like a total tit in front of friends or strangers. You feel that you're not going to remember everything to do with their character backstories and their powers, and you don't have to. And this is something that I've said many times in many different videos. It should not be expected for one person to remember everything. You could divvy up the tasks if you want to, but something that I do is that I don't remember what the player's powers are. That's their responsibility. Like, it's not something that's a priority to me, because as a games master, I've got a lot of hats that I've got to wear. I've got a lot of plates that need to be juggled. It doesn't seem reasonable to me that somebody should be made to remember all the stuff to do with the players as well. Sure, you're probably going to have to remember some things about them, but let them worry about the rulings and mechanics of their own stuff. not you. It's not also going to be something you can easily manage if you're running the game for the very first time, which I'm suppose a fair amount of you watching this video are going to fit in. Like, that just doesn't make much sense. You haven't done something before, so how are you going to do everything right for the first time with no experience to back up that on? You know, that just seems a bit bizarre to me. And I know I have very much have this problem, and you've also going to worry about how much you need to plan, what you need to prep. Well, do as much as you feel that you need to do, and if you find out it's too much, cut back on it. And if it's not enough, add more next time. The point I'm trying to get at is that you are going to fail at bits. You are going to forget things, and you are going to get things wrong. And I'm not trying to be nasty about that. This isn't me like waving my ego about saying that I'm better at you. I don't think I am. I think we just do things differently, and that's absolutely okay. There is nothing wrong with forgetting things. There's nothing wrong of making mistakes, because what you can easily do in those situations is pick up the book and read. Or if you can't remember where in the book that is, and providing that nobody else in the group knows, you just make a decision there and then find out later, and then just inform people about what it was supposed to be for next time. You may end up remembering that bit better than anything else the next time you come to that particular point in the game, which is absolutely fine. I forget shit all the time. I constantly have to look up rules for things. I constantly just, do the whole rule of cool thing and just hand wave things away because I don't want the rules to bog down the narrative. But that's just how I do things, of course. But the thing is, you're going to have this idea, you want to run this game, you want to experience it, you want to make other people happy and feel that they're having a good time with whatever it is that you're running for them. So just do it, because it's not going to happen until you get around to doing it. And I know it can be hard, especially with the advertising themes, and if you're like me who runs a lot of games for strangers, you're now going to have to put a lot of trust in strangers online to read the adverts properly, to show up on time, to not arrive games being drunk or hangover. Yes, that is something that actually happened to me once, which is a conversation for a different time, I think. But the point is, like, you just need to get on with it, because you've got all this advice, all these videos, all these tools, and another video that's clogging up the space telling you how you should and should not be doing things. But at the end of the day, all of that advice will not fucking matter if you don't just fucking do it. And I know it's scary, but you just need to embrace that. And if you just take that first plunge into doing it with the attitude of, fuck it, let's do this thing and see what happens, I can guarantee you that even if the game falls flat on its face, you will feel a lot better for it, because you feel that you've accomplished something, that you feel that bit braver, that bit more confident to go and do things in the future. So the next time it happens, it doesn't feel as frightening. And if it does, that's okay. No one's going to judge you for it. Like, the fact that you're wanting to wear all these different hats and juggle all these plates running a game and taking on that stress and to create worlds and all the rest of that stuff is really cool stuff, and you should be proud of that. Like, just do it. This is me giving you permission, telling you that to go on and have fun with that idea. You've been thinking about it a lot. You're going to be as prepared as you're going to be, because all the prep and the planning is going to go completely out the window within the first session, because you feel that big baddie is going to be a big old threat, but oh no, everybody in the party wants to go and fucking smooch them and think they're fine. Now, you can either turn that round back on them and make them a good guy, or double spy, or just make them eat the consequences to their actions. You've been really nice to a bad guy, this shit's now going to happen. But again, these are just bits and pieces that's just clogging up the space. Just go and do it, my friend. I believe in you. And I would love to hear everything that you get up to in the comments below once you get around to running those games. Or maybe you can part some other bits of advice in the comments below about just taking the bull by the horn, so to speak, and just running wild with something. That would be great. I want everybody to be having fun with TTRPGs and spreading the love of the things that they find cool and exciting. Yeah. Go and do that, folks. Until next time, farewell.